John F. Kennedy's missing brain. President JFK was infamously assassinated in Dallas, Texas, and an autopsy was performed soon after his death. It was recorded that his brain was removed prior to his burial. The organ was stored in the National Archives. There are many theories to why the brain was removed. The most mysterious aspect of the brain's removal is in the fact that it went missing from the National Archives. Some theorize his brother, Robert F. Kennedy, secretly removed it to prevent any analyzation that would reveal his brother's illnesses or how many medications he had been taking at the time of his death. Others believe the removal was orchestrated by the U.S. government because the organ might reveal that the assassination did not occur as the history books say it did. The National Archives was aware of the brain was missing but decided not to pursue after a thorough investigation that the brain's misplacement was due to their error. To this day, the brain has not been located.
Lyndon B. Johnson's 1948 Texas Senate race marked a pivotal moment in his political career and remains one of the most controversial elections in U.S. history. Running against former Texas Governor Coke Stevenson, Johnson trailed in the vote count until a twist from Box 13 in Jim Wells County. A mysterious set of 200 late-arriving ballots provided him just enough votes for a narrow victory. Eyewitnesses later claimed that the names on these ballots appeared in alphabetical order, many written in the same handwriting, suggesting vote tampering. This victory earned Johnson the nickname Landslide Lyndon and raised questions about corruption in his early career. Nonetheless, the result held, and Johnson moved on to the U.S. Senate, where he rapidly rose to prominence, ultimately becoming vice president and then president. The 1948 election remains a symbol of political manipulation and an enduring mystery in American politics.
The identity of Deep Throat. Throughout the entirety of modern American history, few stories have scandalized the public quite as much as Watergate, perpetrated by President Richard Nixon and his supporters in 1972. An attempt to steal important political documents and tap the phones of political rivals, this scandal exploded into American life, quickly becoming one of the most notorious moments of the century. At the center of it all was a mysterious figure known only by the code name Deep Throat, a shadowy agent responsible for much of the evidence condemning President Nixon. Deep Throat's identity was hidden for more than 30 years despite a frenzy of investigation by both the media and private citizens. In 2005, in an interview with reporters, former FBI Director Mark Felt finally revealed himself to have been the infamous informant, though he had been a top suspect for many. This confirmation helped neatly wrap up the story of Watergate. Richard Nixon's missing recording. In the early 1970s, the United States erupted in a storm of political controversy when details of Watergate scandal exposed to the public. President Richard Nixon had been one of the most thorough presidents in recording his Oval Office conversations for reference and historical significance. So when investigators discovered that one recording, made on June 20th, 1972, had a mysterious 18.5-minute gap, the tape in question happened to be one featuring Nixon's discussion of the break-in at the Democratic National Committee headquarters. Nixon's personal secretary, Rosa Mary Woods, admitted to being responsible for the 5 minutes of the deletion due to an error she made while answering phone calls. But prosecutors were quickly to point out that her confusion did not account for the additional 18 minutes of missing audio. During the investigation, it was never determined the audio was deleted, what was recorded in the missing minutes, or who altered the recording.
The most intriguing mysteries tied to a U.S. presidential election is the story of the 1876 election between Rutherford B. Hayes and Samuel J. Tilden, known as the Compromise of 1877. This election was one of the closest and most disputed in U.S. history, with Tilden winning the popular vote but falling one electoral vote short of victory. 20 electoral votes from 4 states were unresolved due to widespread allegations of voter fraud, intimidation, and manipulation on both sides. A bipartisan electoral commission was formed to decide the fate of these contested votes, and after intense political maneuvering, a compromise was struck. Hayes was awarded the presidency on the condition that he would remove federal troops from the South, effectively ending Reconstruction. This compromise shaped the trajectory of civil rights and racial segregation in the U.S. for decades to come, leaving a legacy of controversy over whether democracy had been undermined in favor of political deal-making.